welcome to The Main Straight, the official F1 in Schools podcast. I'm Tom Deacon, your host, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you from all around the world back for another episode of The Main Straight. And can I just take this opportunity to thank you all for the comments you've been sending, and it really does help us as a whole team when you say all the things that you're really enjoying about this podcast and all potential things that you would like to see, maybe even guests. So it really does help us as a team. So do not stop doing that. Now, I am so excited to get our guest on, but let me tell you a little bit more. Now, I've got a question to start off today's episode. How do you ensure a team made up of hundreds of individuals, all with separate areas of responsibilities and budgets to manage, run successfully, delivering each element on time and meeting those all-important cost caps? Project management might not be the first thing you associate with the action-packed, high-octane world of F1, but its application is critical to a team's success. Without it, deadlines can be missed, finances stretched, and crucially, learnings missed. Does this ring a bell so far, what I'm saying to you? I think it does. That is why F1 in Schools partners with the PMI Educational Foundation, the industry-leading body for project management. And I'm so excited to welcome our guest today, who is going to shed more light on all of this and hopefully give us some absolute gems and nuggets of worldly wisdom for you in your competition. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest. I cannot wait to welcome our guest back again. Last time I saw him was at the World Finals in Singapore. It is Mitchell Fong, Board Chair of PMI Educational Foundation. Mitchell, so good to see you again.
Hello, so good to see you again. Thanks for making the time and having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, well, do you know what? I think you're one of our biggest fans. Before we started the interview, you did say you've listened to pretty much every episode, to the envy of some people who might not have caught up on everyone. But it's great to have you on board. Nice to see you at the World Finals as well. Did you have a good time?
Amazing. Every time I experience anything associated with Formula One in schools, whether it's the organization or all the amazing competitors, like it's incredible.
Okay, and just before we get started on this chat and kind of catch up, have you brought any snacks or maybe any gifts for the team?
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier on, I know that you had some New Year's resolutions with like chocolate. So in Canada, we have this thing called Coffee Crisp. It's very, very unique. And so I'll bring some the next time we see each other.
That's awesome. Well, Mitchell, so much to get into. So let's do this. For everyone listening right now who might not be familiar with project management, could you talk us through just what it involves?
Yeah, project management is the practice, planning, organization, and execution of tasks that turn into tangible products, services, and deliverables. And so whether you're jump-starting sustainable initiatives, building skyscrapers, or bringing the coolest and latest apps and video games into the public, project management makes it happen. Project management, it's part of our everyday. It's skills, tools, techniques, all these amazing things that happen in life, professionally and volunteering. Key responsibilities of the project manager include defining scope and things that might not be in scope, identifying deliverables, timelines, risk management, and effective communication across teams. The amazing thing about project management is there's different approaches. So whether it's predictive, adaptive, or hybrid, you can choose based on the projects that you're running. And what's amazing about project management is the skill sets that are transferable across many industries and many verticals. For those looking for a job in project management, there are 25 million new project management employees needed by 2030. So a ton of amazing things with project management.
I have to say, Mitchell, and I'd like to shine a light on all guests and getting to know each guest a bit more. I have to say straight off the bat, you're very organized, and I love this. And that is that part of that project management that I clearly see, and I love. And when people hear the name, the PMI Educational Foundation, I guess they want to know immediately, when was it established? What is its role? And what are those ambitions?
Yeah, thank you very much for asking that question. I think fundamentally around the world, everyone knows about the Project Management Institute, or PMI. It's the global authority in project management committed to advancing the project management profession since 1969. With PMI, there's three pillars. Pillar 1 is community-generated knowledge platforms and resources. Pillar 2, career-long learning and development. And Pillar 3, most trusted gold standard in professional certifications. PMI Educational Foundation, or PMIEF, was founded in 1990 by co-founder Jim Schneider, and the PMIEF has helped put youth on a path to success by incorporating project management into their daily lives. For PMIEF, the vision is inspiring youth to achieve their goals, making dreams a reality, and the mission is to enable youth to realize their potential and transform lives through project management. At PMI and PMIEF, we're here to elevate the next generation of project managers to maximize success. PMIEF is a nonprofit and supports preparing youth for project management expertise. And PMI is also committed to cultivating project professionals and helping people thrive in our profession.
I love that. Getting a sense of the history and a bit more understanding. So that brings us up to speed now. We understand what project management is and what the PMI Educational Foundation, when it was established, and what it sets out to do. So how did this relationship begin? How did you begin that work with F1 in schools? What appealed about this fantastic competition as a vehicle for learning project management skills?
So this partnership with PMIEF and Formula One in schools predates me. It started in 2019. For me specifically, I have a degree in software engineering and political science. So all this STEM work is really, really, really exciting for me. I'm involved locally with my engineering and project management community here in Toronto, Canada. And I've also co-founded the Ontario Project Management Competition, which started in 2017. The focus of the Ontario Project Management Competition is for teams to execute and deliver and execute on projects that help solve one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And prior to this as well, from an F1 perspective, I was a fan prior to Drive to Survive. And so I've been following F1 before that. And my first experience was in 2022 at Silverstone. And I didn't know what to expect. And I was absolutely floored at seeing the project management portfolios that the competitors put together. They were even more amazing once I started asking questions, and they were able to understand both what they were able to talk about what they've learned, and also applying it. You can see, like, very early on, a pattern among the top teams, team principals, leaders, project managers. The teams that applied project management well also were the teams that really applied it to design, engineering, enterprise, pit displays, team identity, verbals, marketing, branding, and communications. I've been so impressed with this partnership with Formula One in schools through Andrew, Annabelle, David, Eleanor, Gary, Nelson, Tom, Willie, and also the entire team. And for 2023 World Finals in Singapore, I was honored to be the lead judge for project management, and the quality of project management portfolios just got stronger and even better. And I was also totally floored at the potential from all the competitors. What was also really amazing to see was just the diversity, equity, inclusion from various countries, and also women in motorsport. What makes this partnership really incredible is the fact that I would have loved to learn about project management, Tom, as a teenager, and these teenagers are doing such a great job. So this is, incredible.
I love that. It's just straight up passion coming from the guests. And this is what I love about the Main Straight, the official podcast to F1 in schools, is because when I hear that passion from you, the experts, the judges, I think that really resonates with the students and the competitors who are competing, because when they hear our guests really buzzing, then immediately they're like, give me some more of that project management, please. I'll have a slice of that, which I love. And personally myself, understanding a little bit about what ongoing operations are, and I have lots of those in my life, but not necessarily things that I could use those skills, in project management. And trying to understand that, but I love it. You've done a huge shout out to all of the team at F1 in schools, which people love, and that passion. I guess, but people coming at this maybe for first year in it and understanding, I guess, project management, where is it embedded within F1 in schools? Like, how do the students learn about this particular subject area? Because when they start, they think, I'm going to build a car. That's all I need to do. So where does that project management side come in?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question in a few different ways. Most importantly, the initial goal of this partnership was to get project management integrated in both at national and world levels. And I think that that's been done really, really well. The partnership was initially created, we want to create a guide which explains the project management tools and techniques. And for this upcoming year, we've spent some time and updated the guide. And so this latest and greatest edition of the guide integrates competitors, judges, and subject matter experts. And so for those that haven't downloaded the guide yet, please do. There's a lot of great information, specifically on page 25 and 26, that will help a lot of the competitors. The guide. This is the guide for 25 and 26 pages in order to kind of really, really help this year's competitors. With the partnership, we also had training for in-country coordinators. And so the understanding is for the educators and the adults that are involved, if they have project management training, then they'll be better able to guide the competitors. Right now, at World and Nationals, all teams need to complete a project management portfolio. And so it's incredible to see that. And moving ahead, we are working through some further engagement of youth. And so we've started some work working with primary schools. So integrating STEM and project management and motorsport in there as well, and encouraging creativity, problem solving, communication, confidence, collaboration, and teamwork.
I'm going to let you know a little secret, Mitchell. I did download it and I have been looking through the guide and just breaking it down. And you mentioned the 3 pillars and what PMI Educational Foundation is looking for. But that whole process just opened a bit my brain up, because it's initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and then closing. And I just like that simple step by step when you approach a challenge, or how are we going to make the fastest car? Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and then closing. And it is well worth downloading and obviously getting ahead of it, because it's going to help you not just for the World Finals, but national, but also to even get your team to collaborate and think about how you're going to tackle these problems. So 100% with you on that. And you mentioned motorsport there. So I guess in the world of F1, they'll be doing project management constantly, because, whether it's budget management and things like that. Can you talk us through a couple of the ways in which F1 teams may be doing that?
Yeah, so obviously, first and foremost, the goal is to deliver on a highly functioning and winning car. And beyond drivers, there's a massive team that is working to improve performance, during the off season and week to week. And there's so many folks involved in building these cars, they need to cross their F's and dot their J's. And talking to one of the interns at one of the teams from last season, the project management office and the project managers were right in the middle of the office. They were the hub and spoke, making things happen. And so for listeners to the podcast here, the work involved with strategy, planning, designing, incremental improvement, that's the key. And then when you're dealing with things like regulation changes, sustainability initiatives, obviously net zero by 2030, logistics, tire changes, all these things involve project management. And so the successful Formula One teams, PMOs, project managers, they're the ones that really do get this right, beyond the engineering and design and drivers and team principles, which are obviously incredibly important.
Before I ask you about what the life of a project manager is like, you did mention Drive to Survive, and I'm curious, does that, because you are Canadian, does that instantly make you a Lance Stroll fan? And when you were at Silverstone, were you cheering him on? I'm curious.
No comments in terms of
favorite drivers. Okay,
drivers or teams or anything like that. But yeah, it's always incredible to be in around the paddock, in around racing, and all those type of things. Just as a fan, an overall fan of motorsport F1, not necessarily specific teams. It's just really incredible. Great opportunity.
I couldn't agree more with you. And understanding a bit more about project management, you see it from an outside as well, not just Drive to Survive. That's the drama, that's the excitement. But knowing the day to day, it's not just about those people who are at the paddock. It's everyone back at the factory. Like so many people working to make on track work perfectly come race time. Understanding that a bit more is definitely opened up my eyes. So I couldn't agree more with you that how exciting it is being at a racetrack, watching things like Drive to Survive, and just being a fan of how teams get better using project management. And also, can I just point out for any listener, I was bamboozled and also love it when you said, let's cross their F's and dot their J's. That's an expression I've never heard. So thank you for bringing that. Mitchell, talk me through what it's like being a project manager. What is the day in a life of someone like yourself like?
Project management is in nearly every company in every industry, like around the world. And so the concept of executing and completing brilliant ideas and turning them into reality, that's project management. In terms of some of the skill sets involved, you're looking at leadership, adaptability, organization, time management, creative problem solving, effective communication, and motivating and team management. Going back to the guide that everyone should be downloading, is a lot of the aspects of the guide are tools and things that we do in project management. So just to list off a couple, project charter, work breakdown structure, Gantt charts, resource management, stakeholder register, risk management, SaaS reports. Those are all things that we do as project managers, and we're asking the teams and the competitors to do as well. So you're getting this great view of industry and what it means to be great project managers. Day to day, project managers will run executive steering committees, help teams remove blockers, utilize artificial intelligence, do lessons learned, always looking to improve the projects, the programs, and the organizations that are there. At the end of the day, as a project manager, it's such a great accomplishment to know that you've done something tangible and made a difference. And that's why I personally love the project management profession. I love what I do, and being able to get the project management word out to the larger STEM community and F1 in schools community is just, again, I've used the word incredible and tremendous so much, but it truly is incredible and tremendous.
Okay, so I'm trying to put this into context now, understanding your day to day and what that's like, and for any student and competitor that is thinking about, do you know what, I'm pretty good at organizing my team and getting us to where we need to be. Maybe being a project manager going forward is something I want to do. Is it the most liked role in the team? I'm just curious, just as it came into my mind, because you have to be on your team the whole time to be like, we're not achieving these things that we set out to do, and using those communication skills. Do you find a lot of difficulty in getting the communication across? How important is that aspect?
Communication is really, really important. It's difficult. I think that sometimes, the best project managers or program managers will be the ones that the teams love. And the ones that maybe aren't so good are the ones that just don't have the communication quite right, or just don't lead and run things in the same way. And so and sometimes you need some of those depending on the programs and the projects. But there's, I think that looking at all these competitors, especially the ones that are focused on project management, I think they're going to make great project managers in the future.
I suppose you have to make tough decisions being the project manager, especially for the F1 in schools. And it's not always going to be liked, but you have to agree as a team. Do you have any tips, advice for aspiring project managers, Mitchell?
I do. And also one of your earlier podcasts with Hydran, you were talking through some of those aspects of, things that worked for the team and things that didn't work for the team. And so really, really great podcast on that one. I guess I'll share it in terms of little tips from judges, from a judge, and also general practice. So as a judge, you can definitely tell when teams kind of started late. So the recommendation would always be to start early with their with their Formula One and schools projects, and get the entire team. Like, I'm just going to promote this out. Get the entire team to read the guide, not just the project manager. Look at the scorecard. I think that keeps on coming up over and over again. And if project management is something that like you really like love and something that you really want to pursue, there's tons of certifications out there, and tons of other resources out there. I think that like teams that are able to holistically learn and apply project management to their Formula One and schools projects, not just the portfolio, but overall, those are the ones that really, really stand out. I think it's also important that teams put in a little bit of effort every day to kind of improve things. And for the project managers and the team principals on these teams, it's important to prioritize what needs to get done. You often hear from teams like, putting in lots of hours, we might not be able to, get everything done. Prioritization is important, which, breaks down to tools like Gantt charts and change management. And the one thing that really blew me away in terms of giving feedback live in Singapore was, it was interesting. Judges gave feedback, and some teams like wrote things down. Some teams just kind of listened. What was really, really impressive is there was a handful of teams that did a debrief. They literally spent 10-20 minutes talking through things, taking notes, really, really focusing on how they can improve. And this whole concept of continuous learning, and this is the growth mindset. Even at Worlds, there's teams that do it better than others. And so that also really blew me away.
I suppose definitely, because if that is their last World Finals, you kind of think to yourself, well, we've done now. But that growth mindset is we could have a whole podcast just talking about that and how people grow. Do you think though, Mitchell, team principal, whatever you want to call it, project manager, do they carry the whole weight of the team? Because sometimes I do see it in teams where the team manager or the person running everything has the weight of the world on them. So when you said make sure everyone in the team reads that debrief and understands a scorecard, because then you're all carrying the same amount of weight.
Yeah, I think that it's really important to like accountability and taking on responsibility. And I think that the top teams, the winning teams, they're the ones that where everyone's understands. Sometimes there isn't time to do something in a specific week or specific day, but then the team's able to quote unquote pick up the slack. Having that larger, as I mentioned before, this larger holistic view of what needs to get done, the prioritizations, that makes it easier and better for all the teams and all the team members involved.
Okay. I guess we've already touched on it, but I did want to know from you, specific tips for F1 in schools participants to manage their projects better. But I guess you've kind of covered that by discussing how they can improve and definitely that growth mindset. All right then, we've heard about how people can improve things. Talk to me about those teams you met at the World Finals in Singapore, the kind of the success stories that have kind of had an effect on you, I guess.
Just as I said before, it's totally impressed with all the teams competing in World Finals. It's so much effort to get there. They need to win regionals, win nationals, and then really and compete at the world level. And you always hear about there's such a gap in between what people think at nationals and what ends up happening at World Finals. And so several competitors have just discussed that they've really been thankful for the project management guide and having project management integrated in. And so that warms my heart. They've used a lot of the techniques in their own lives. And they've really improved the confidence within it as well. The Formula One and school community is incredible. Thinking back to Silverstone, the top 3 teams that made the podium in Silverstone, they also were the 2 out of the 3 teams ended up being the top project management teams as well. Is there a correlation? So Hydron from Australia, SPV, Avita Racing, United Kingdom, and Zenith Cyprus were the top project management teams. And other teams that did really, really well was Blackout from Wales, Greco from Greece, and Fibonacci from Scotland. In Singapore, the top 3 teams, less of a correlation, but the top 3 teams that finished on the podium were also among the top quarter or 25th percentile of project management as well. So Urja from India, Orex from Saudi Arabia, Aurora from Australia. Those teams did great stuff with project management, and yeah, it was incredible to see. And the level, again, as I said, of project management across the 2 World Finals, and looking forward to the next World Finals, wherever it happens to be around the world. There's former competitors within Formula One in schools that have gone on to do engineering at prestigious college universities like Imperial in the UK and Stanford in California. And a lot of the 2 of them specifically that I'm thinking about really do credit Formula One in schools to their success. If folks want to learn about more of the project management success stories and the partnership with Formula One in schools, there's a link we can also include that talk through some of the amazing things that happen in Silverstone, and hopefully that inspires the next generation of project managers. Thanks for asking that question, Tom.
No worries. I love it. I've got 2 final questions. First one is a bit of a fun one. And that is, what can we do, Mitchell, to have more Canadian teams apply? Because that Canadian vibe and energy, imagine that at a world final. It'd be just awesome, right? So that's a kind of fun question. What can we do about that? Maybe you could put the word out. I'll email a few people as well.
Yeah, I'm sure between the 2 of us, we can totally put the word out there. I'm going to leave that for the Dunfords to help throw things out in Canada. It would be fantastic. I've heard, prior to my involvement with Formula One schools, I've heard a really big success with a lot of Canadian teams prior. So it'd be great to get Canadian teams out there again. But that's a dream at this point, and hopefully it will come true in the near term.
Okay, I love it. What does the future have in store then for F1 in schools and PMIEF?
We've just been so excited about this partnership and always looking to explore ways to do things better. Before kind of jumping into the future, I just wanted to thank the entire PMIEF board of directors, PMI, the PMI leadership team for all their support, their help, their innovation, and also in terms of suggesting that I join this podcast. So thank you for that. The integration for Formula One in schools and PMIEF, we've really seen some tangible results. We've seen more volunteers get involved. We're looking at ways to integrate more artificial intelligence. Some of the survey results, so peer numbers, looking from last year, 84% of the participants said now they're considering a career in project management. And they're really showcasing PMIEF in this experience as something that is a major factor to that. The second one, which again is incredible, is the fact that 88%, an impressive 88%, said they're willing to share the project management knowledge in future projects, both in academia and in their personal lives. And so to get the project management quote unquote word out there even more, again, I've said this again, but it warms my heart. There's a real transformation to the way that education is happening around the world. And this partnership is just a great example of. We're also looking to get into more countries with our primary school program. We're right now in 20, and then can we get above 30, 40, and 50, if not 60? And so this partnership really elevates STEM education around the world, both in project management, motorsport, and youth development. And the focus will be very, very much focused on the competitors and the youth in terms of what can we do more for them.
Well, listen, what a great way to end this catch up, Mitchell. A real pleasure. So many good pieces of helpful advice for all of our competitors in the F1 in Schools competition. I hope you've enjoyed it, because now you've been a guest on the podcast, which is fantastic. Mitchell Fong, board chair of PMI Educational Foundation, thank you so much for being today's guest. I wish you all the best, and we'll see you at the next World Finals.
Thank you, Tom.